Welcome back everyone. In today's video we are going to talk about the top 10 Air Force Ones to come out in 2019. Like I said in my other videos, I do believe that Air Force hype is slowly building and that will be the next big sneaker that all the collabs will be with and all the money will be going into, along with the Nike Dunks, which I will do a separate video on. And since this is an investment channel, my top 10 will be based on the return on investment based on these shoes, okay? To be more precise, I'm going to go ahead and rank these in order based on how much they are going for now currently on the market versus how much they were initially at retail, okay? To be even more precise, we will strictly explore the statistics based on a size 9.5. This is just an arbitrary choice I made such that we can have an apples to apples comparison between shoes, okay? It's possible that the ordering will be a little bit different based on different sizes, but for the most part, this should be an accurate estimate as of today. That being said, there is also a couple of shoes on this list that are yet to release, so their prices that I will be quoting will be based on expectations and they could be vastly different from what I have here, okay? So some of these rankings technically might be different once the shoe actually releases. And also some of these shoes that haven't released yet, some of their actual initial retail prices are unknown. So I will do my best to find the rumored prices. And if those are not available, then I will just sort of estimate that based on some of the prices that recent shoes have been coming out at. Okay, so let's begin. So technically this shoe did release in some parts of the world last year in December. However, here in Canada, the actual release date was January the 10th, making it technically a shoe of 2019. However, I didn't want to mix things up between regions, so I kept this shoe as an honorable mention. This shoe is actually two different shoes, the A Cold Wall Black Air Force One Low and the A Cold Wall White Air Force One Low. Both of these shoes retailed at $190. The black one is currently reselling at about $200, which is only a 5% increase from where it's retail, whereas the white one is doing substantially better, sitting at around $300 for a return of about 60%. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, A Cold Wall is a designer brand started by Samuel Ross, who is in fact one of the disciples of Virgil Abloh. So you can naturally see why these shoes, at least the white pair, has increased in value. Coming out right around the time of Halloween is our number 10 entry into this list. That is the black Skeleton Air Force One. This is the second Skeleton Air Force One in the series. Last year we had the white version of the shoe, and this year we are seeing the black version of the shoe. Both of these originally retailed for $130, and this black version now is selling for around $175, giving it a return of about 35%. Cool little shoe to go with the whole spooky vibe of that time of the year. And you can also see that the sole on the bottom does in fact glow in the dark. The next shoe on our list is a late entry. That being said, these shoes just surfaced, or at least shots of them just surfaced last night. And apparently IDK and his brand Clue is in fact collaborating with Nike to produce a Nike Air Force One Low. As you can see here in this shot, the shoe will be made of a blue velvet upper, but again, not much is known about this release. Neither is date, retail, or expected prices, since these shoes are not listed anywhere on the internet yet. That being said, I do expect these to drop sometime in the next month. I do expect a retail of somewhere around $160, and I do expect them to resell for somewhere in the neighborhood of $340, giving this shoe a return of about 110%. At number 8, we have the blue Clot Air Force One Lows that just released this past weekend. These have been moving sort of sideways for now. The price has neither dropped or raised on them, and we have been mentioning them in our other videos as some of the shoes we are targeting going forward. That being said, this shoe retailed at a high, lofty $250, which is far above any other Air Force One that we've seen to date. And they are reselling somewhere in the neighborhood of $550, giving them a current return of about 120%. Number 7, we got the What the NYC, aka What the New York Air Force Ones. These released about a month and a half ago, and they did come with a secondary drop of the LA version. These retailed for a price of $130 and are currently moving at around $300, giving them a nice hefty profit of about 130% since release. Speaking of the What the LA version Air Force Ones, those are the next shoe on our list. These have done substantially better than the What the New Yorks, given that they were released second. This is a little bit interesting. However, retailing at the same $130, the shoe is currently selling for somewhere in the neighborhood of $400, giving it a return of about 210%. Reasons for why this one is outselling the NYC are unclear to me. Maybe you guys can give me your opinions in the comments below. Okay, so this is where the list starts to get a little bit difficult. A lot of the shoes that you're going to see have not really released yet, and we don't know too much about them, and we have no real good estimates for what they will resell at. So again, take everything going forward with a grain of salt. The number 5 shoe on our list is the A Ma Maniere Air Force Ones. In this picture, I have the lows listed, but I do expect that the mid/high versions will also do well. These shoes will do well in my opinion because they are highly limited. Okay, the rumors are that there will be about 5,000 pairs of each version of the shoe, and with only 5,000 pairs to go around, and with the whole Air Force One hype starting to build slowly, I do expect that these will do substantially better than any of the other ones that we've discussed so far. With that, I expect the retail to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $200, with market value on open somewhere in the neighborhood of $650, giving this shoe the number 5 spot on the list with an expected return of 225%. At number 4, we have arguably one of the upcoming grails going forward, and those are the Clot by Fragment Air Force Ones. These will be similar in nature to the blue versions that recently released. However, they will feature a Fragment collab as well, and the shoe will be black. It is highly likely that that little lightning bolt will appear somewhere on the shoe as well. That being said, I expect the retail price of these to be the same as the retail of the blue pair, giving it a retail of $250. And some conservative estimates on where these will move at, I have them at around $900. Do not be surprised if these go for substantially more than that. Okay, with those numbers in mind, I have them sitting at the number 4 spot with a return on investment of 260%. Number 3 on our list, the G Dragon ParaNoise Air Force Ones. I gotta admit to you guys, I don't know much about G Dragon or this shoe in general. I did hear about it recently though, however, and all the indicators are there that this will sell for quite a bit of money. There are currently some offers on StockX in the neighborhood of $750, so I do expect the shoe to sell somewhere in that range. That being said, there is apparently a specifically Korea only release to these, and then there may be another version that's more generally released worldwide as well. So again, I don't know too much exactly about this shoe in particular. I don't know too much about the Korean music scene in general. So it's quite possible that this shoe ends up substantially higher or lower looking back at this list in a year from now. Okay, with that being said, I expect the shoe to retail for $200. Expect it to sell in the neighborhood of $750, giving it an expected return on investment of 275%. Number 2 is the shoe that has been popping up all over your Instagram accounts, and that is the Cactus Jack Air Force One by Travis Scott himself. Okay, as you guys all know, Travis Scott has been the hottest thing since sliced bread in the collab scene these days. And of course, it's no surprise that the shoe sold out and is already reselling at some substantially higher prices. Okay, we talked about this shoe in our other videos as one of the shoes that we are targeting long term. I have no doubt in my mind that these will go up in value eventually, with all the Air Force One hype as well building up slowly. And the reason these actually end up at number 2 is not so much because they're reselling at some astronomical values, but more because their actual retail was relatively low compared to some of the other shoes on this list, such as the Clots, for example. Okay, these retailed for 160 US and currently selling for 660. That gives them a ROI of 310%. Okay, so despite the fact that the Clots are selling in the same neighborhood, the fact that they were a good $90 more expensive to begin with shows you why there is such a wide variance in their positions on this list. And it should come as no surprise that our number 1 Air Force of 2019 is in fact the off-white MCA Air Force One. The shoe was already very hard to get to begin with. Add the off-white branding to it, and you can see why this shoe has done so well. Having a retail price of $150, which is arguably one of the lowest retails on this list, it is currently sitting at somewhere in the $2,000 price range, giving it a massive return of 1,200%, or as you can think of, 12x your initial investment. Okay, of course, many of us weren't able to get this shoe as well as just about any shoe on this list at retail. So again, these numbers that we discussed here may not be the best measure of how a shoe has performed in terms of growth. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in a next video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know what shoes I missed.